and welcome to part 3 of Herbal Home Remedies. I'm Chris Ferguson with MediSweet Herbals here in wonderful Cabot, Arkansas, and we're continuing on with the series about how when you wake up in the middle of the night or on a weekend and the drugstores are closed or you won't be able to see your doctor until Monday, I've got some information that can help you that you can get right from your own kitchen or your refrigerator that can help you through the night and may even help you eliminate the whole illness by the next day or two. So today in part 3 we're going to be talking about corn silk. Now, even though it isn't quite corn season here in central Arkansas, corn has been flooding the produce stores for over a month now. I don't know if it's coming from South Texas or California, but we've had corn, a lot of corn. And you wouldn't think that corn silk or the strings that grow out of the tops of the corn husks would be considered an herb, but it's an herb, in my opinion, that should be frequently used more by herbalists. And I think it's a shame that a lot of herbalists think they have to use these exotic herbs that come from Asia or somewhere on the other side of the planet, when corn silk is right here and it's so cheap and so easy to use and it's very effective. Corn silk is a urinary herb. It contains mucilages which coat and soothe and protect the entire urinary tract, the kidneys, the ureters, which is the tube that streams urine from the kidneys down into the bladder, and it also coats the bladder. It also relaxes the muscles, not so much that you can't control urinating, like you'd have to wear Depends or something like that, but just enough to help with the spasming and the pain that happens during the slight urinary infections. It helps women who get frequent urinary infections, like if they have diabetes, that occurs a lot of times. And it can also help men who have enlarged prostate. They're not able to empty their bladders as often as they should, and they also get frequent bladder infections as well too. Corn silk is very mild, gentle herb that works extremely well. I do want to say as a warning that any moderate to severe pain that radiates up into the back should always be checked out by a physician, as it could mean a more serious kidney infection or kidney stone blockage that would signify the need for immediate medical attention. As a former dialysis RN, I always have to warn people about severe pain in that area. But for our purposes here, we're talking about the milder conditions. So, besides coating all of the tissues, corn silk can also act as a diuretic in that it helps to pull fluid gently from the body. It contains potassium, so if you have a heart condition, you don't have to worry about losing potassium out with the urine. If those levels are medically important to you, which usually your doctor will be checking them at least monthly. And the result is a gentle blood pressure reducing herb. And if you're like me, you really don't want to hear from your doctor that you should think about going on blood pressure medication soon because of your age. Corn silk is the best herb to take if you're getting into that borderline high blood pressure area, for instance the 140/90 range. It has no effects like a pharmaceutical blood pressure medication would. So a lot of people, they'll get into that borderline range and they'll stay there for a couple of years. And you can take corn silk for a couple of years as well. It's a very safe herb to use, very effective. Also, if you have a continual problem with kidney stones, drinking corn silk tea can help reduce the formation of more stones by alkalinizing blood, which changes the chemical consistency of it, so it is less likely to form the crystals or the stones in your kidneys. So by now you're probably wondering, well, okay, this sounds like a good thing. I'm not feeling so good, you know, in the bladder area. So how do I use this corn silk to make a tea? What you would do is you would take about a 4 cob amount, and what I have here is about 2 cobs worth. and it's about that much. I usually measure things by you know, the size of my hands, so you would need a big glob, hand's worth, to make 1 ounce to put into your tea kettle that has a pint of water, and it should be boiling water. You would stuff that down in there, make sure it all got saturated, and put the lid on it, and then you would let it steep for a period of 3 to 5 minutes. Then after 5 minutes, you would take your strainer here, and you would pour the tea through the strainer into your cup. You can add stevia or honey for flavor, and you can also use cranberry juice as well, which has the ability to keep the bacteria from sticking to the walls of the bladder. So it would be kind of a dual purpose thing. You'd have something that would soothe the bladder with the corn silk, and then something that would keep the bacteria from sticking and staying in there, which would be the cranberry juice. I usually collect corn silk throughout the summer just to always have it on hand. It takes a while to collect in a quart mason jar, so I always have my mom help me and she'll ask her friends to save their corn silk as well. And it's really a shame the way people will take it when they shuck their corn, and they'll just pull back that husk and then just throw it away, or they'll stick it in their compost pile, never knowing that they can use this corn silk for some of the problems that they have. I dry mine in a food dehydrator because it has a lot of moisture to it. It takes a while for it to dry, but it's definitely well worth the effort. So if you have any questions or comments about corn silk or any of the other herbs, I encourage you to post them down below my picture, kind of in the little box area. And I would welcome any suggestions or any other questions that you might have that I can answer for you. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing, and be sure to check our website page at medisweetherbal.com. We have a current summer special going for our local Arkansas customers, and I thank you again for joining me today for part 3 of Herbal Home Remedies, and here's to your health.